Good night, dear teacher. My name is Andrea Loor, and this is my ID card. In this video, I'm going to explain the concepts of sign language, verbal and nonverbal communication. So let's start. First, we have our cover and our title, the sign language, verbal versus nonverbal communication, paralanguage and paralinguistic. Unit 3, the sign language. Language can be used and delivered in many different ways, such as oral or written, as well as language can be transmitted through signs. How is it possible to express the feelings, ideas, and exchange the information? In order to efficiently interact, those people use their arms, hands, body language, facial gestures. They use language that applies the visual manual modality to convey meaning. It is known as a sign language. Can sign language be considered a real language? Sign language is as any other language with its characteristics, functions, and features. The difference between sign language and vocally transmitted one is that it can be written as other languages are. Furthermore, sign language differs across the world depending on the culture of its users. Every country has its own sign language. Just as any language across the world, sign language has the rules that govern it and should be obeyed by its users. Characteristics of sign language. We have seven characteristics, First set, sign language is based on the culture of the country where it is used, or where sign languages are specific to their community and cultures. Second, all word sign languages use alphabets. However, the fact that we know our native language alphabet does not mean that we are automatically become literate in sign language. Third, all sign languages across the world follow the grammatical characteristics of spoken languages, including phonology, morphology, and syntax. 4. As in spoken languages, the main parts of the speech, such as nouns, verbs, adjectives, pronouns, and adverbs, are combined to form sentences. Each sign languages follow the grammar rules using spoken language. For example, in American English Sign Language, ASL use a basic subject-verb-object-word order sign order. 5. Each sign language has grammar and vocabulary that must be obeyed by the users in order for message to be properly delivered and understood. 6. Sign language is made of several components. Besides the use of hands and arms, its users also should know how to correctly interpret facial expressions, eyes, eyebrows, mouth, and body language gestures and indications of direction, such as front, right, left, up, and down. The vocabulary of sign languages consists of the mixtures of all those signs and gestures. The vocabulary is used to form sentences following the grammar rules. If we compare sign and vocal languages, we have to mention that there are some differences between them. Since sign language has non-linguistic roots, some iconic characteristics are present in it and may be different across countries and languages. According to Cerebrum Dana Foundation 2021, sign languages require a structured grammatical processing but involve visual perception of signs according to the country and the speech community. Verbal versus nonverbal communication. We all can transmit our ideas and share message verbally using our language. Each system of grammar and vocabulary and non-verbally through our body language, gestures, facial expression, dressing code, modulation of our voice, tone, etc. You also know that language and communication are not the same. Animals have a sophisticated way of communicating. through sounds they emit and gestures or movements they adopt, but it cannot be considered a language in a sense as human use. Verbal communication and nonverbal communication. Verbal communication. Verbal communication comprises many elements according to the social character of interaction and context in which it takes place. Elements, greetings, and farewells. Greetings and farewells represent a rich source to understand the nature and purpose of communication between people. Kinship terms, words that explain relationships between members of a family. Euphemism and taboo words. These kinds of words basically refer to paraphrasing of words concepts that may be considered touchy or harmful for people's feelings. Address forms. It is a typical and exclusively human way of communication using address forms when interacting. Compliments are exclusively human verbal expressions whose purpose is to make others feel good. Nonverbal communication. We all use nonverbal way of expressing our feelings, emotions, states, etc. Our social interaction usually involve a conjunction of verbal and nonverbal aspects. In this, we have paralanguage and paralinguistics. Paralanguage. This term refers to nonverbal elements of communication used to modify meanings of uttered message and convey the emotions of the speech act participants. Since it refers to elements of communication, it should also be mentioned that within the field of paralanguage is body language, movements, and gestures that speakers usually produce during a speech act. Even Cicero, Quintilian, and other ancient philosophers emphasized the role of body language for efficient communication and mentioned its role on influencing other people. The importance of gestures in the expression of feelings gives them the status of language. We all speak paralanguage every day. Paralanguage. Nonverbal way of communication that accompanies speech and contributes to the nuances of the meaning. It conveys emotions of the message. The way how you say words, the body language. Elements. We have intonation, pitch, tone, voice volume, body language, posture, facial expressions, eye contact, proxemics, kinesics, kinesthetics, touching. Nonverbal communication elements. We have 4 elements. First set, eye contact. In some cultures, during a conversation, eye contact should be limited, while in others, it is one of the main elements of a speaking act. Second, kinesics. It refers to body movements or body language. Proxemics, it refers to a space bubble that the speakers of different cultures maintain during the conversation. Kinesthetics, it refers to touching a partner during a conversation, and it also represents important aspects. It varies according to culture. Paralinguistics. The study of paralanguage is paralinguistics. It refers to vocal communication that gives some shades or nuances of meaning through the tone of voice, loudness, speed of speech delivery, silence, articulation. Paralinguistics features of language are extremely important in human communication because they may change message completely. It basically refers to how you say something rather than what you say. To sum up, paralanguage includes body language, facial expression, and elements such as kinesthetic, eye contact, proxemics, Vocal expressions. No linguistic expressed through lexics and vocabulary, and paralinguistic is a part of linguistics that studies paralanguage. In this slide, we have bibliographic reference, and thank you. Thank you, teacher, for watching this video. That's all.